you and I live not a traditional life, right?
Not now.
Right, not now. There you go. But I would say before this, I was good in my professional world.
Yeah.
You're great in your professional world, right? Good at what we did. And then this other thing happens. And there's a perception that if you are a mom who's a counselor in a local community and you work 60 hours a week and you've got 2 kids and you're exhausted and your husband didn't help that much, but he's trying and you're just making it, right? And you are plumber and you got 4 plumbers that work for you and you have a small little business and you've got 2 kids, one at Little League, and you're trying to coach too, right?
Yeah.
There's this at life. We're running.
Yeah.
The illusion is if I can just get here. If this would just happen, if I could get this dollar amount, the whole thing is, right? Then I can finally fill in the blank.
Yeah.
And I've come to wrestle with over the last few years especially, that if-then thing is
it's a myth.
I knew that psychologically. If you had come to see me like as a client or just like as a, like, hey, need some help, I would have told you that. Like, that's not true. But I believed it.
It's so funny you mentioned that. Like, I'm like, maybe this was maybe 3 weeks ago, talking with my wife, and we're at the kitchen, an island, and she puts her hands down and goes, I'm ready for life to slow down. I'm ready for this to happen, and these things, and life is going to slow down. And I looked at her, I said, this is life. I said, this is it. I said, this feeling, this is what it is. It's never going to slow down. There's always going to be something, like, you just need to enjoy. This is exactly what I told her. You just need to enjoy the present of where we are at any time, because there is nothing to chase. I mean, there's not going to be as soon as we get over this hill, we're going to coast. Yeah, if you got kids, if you got, for your family, it's constant. It's on. It's on. And it's on from the beginning to the end. But I was like, this is it. Yeah. That's what I told her. I was like, this is it. There's no we get here and it's going to slow down.
Well, and when you see that, okay, here's the calendar's got some space in it, that's when your kid breaks their arm. That's when the teacher calls and says, your kid just called somebody a such and such, and you're like, my kid? Right? It doesn't stop.
Yeah, that one weekend that you're like, oh, we have it free. That's when somebody in your family gets sick.
That's right. Yeah. Or your buddy calls and is like, hey, I need a lawyer right now.
Right.
You're like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Or something, you have we had a major storm, power goes out for like 3 days. Oh, okay, I guess we won't be going anywhere.
Because y'all's Texas power grids held together with duct tape and string.
And WD-40.
So how has, even in a limited time, going and sitting across from somebody, a mental health professional, and saying, I'm not all right. And beyond that, not just the act of going to counseling, but for a guy that had all the answers.
Yeah.
And not only had all the answers, but people hire you for your answers.
Right.
And you are a very particular type of assassin. To be able to sit in that, with that skill set and go, that doesn't serve me here.
Right.
I need help here.
Yes.
How has that impacted you being a husband? How's that impacted you being a dad? Because I would say those are the most important roles, ahead of lawyer, ahead of TikTok sensation.
But I know that what it has taught me is my mind can tell me pretty much anything that I want to know and what I want to say. My mind is like, it's very surgical in the way it will help me control my reactions and responses. But it is a terrible doctor of diagnosing what's going on in my body. And I've always been the type, and you know this, when you're in high conflict situations, your mind is what matters. Like, your mind is what keeps you sharp. I have to be listening to every word that they say. But my body, my mind's going, hey, get out of here. Just, hey, no. Yeah, you're not relevant right now. I need your mind.
And it's, as Vanderkolk says, it's keeping the score, right?
Yeah. Every day. And that's what shut down. And so having these like deep dives into where that's coming from, and where I found that was, and I don't mind sharing, it was just a sense of being alone. And I say that because at the time you and I weren't connected, and nobody in my world could like relate to what was happening in that space. At the same time, I'm very just it's a privilege to even use the applications. They could flick if Instagram wanted to, they could ban me and kick me off
tomorrow.
I have no free speech rights there. Like, they're like, thanks for using our app. You know what I mean? Like, that's,
making us a bunch of ad money.
Yeah, yeah.
You're off.
That's it. And the continuous tense that I live in, I could tell myself, you're good. No, you're fine. And I realized I was not giving myself a lot of that attention and permission, as therapists like to say. Give yourself a lot of permission. I remember being like, permission of what?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't like that word. I was like, can we not use that word? It turns out that was just pride, you know.
You were deposing yourself.
Yeah. So she was been great at going, so you realize you do have a mind, you do have a body, and your body is what is suffering. And you're not giving attention to that, and that's been great. And since then, it's made me a better father. To your question, it's made me a better husband, in that I'm taking better care of myself. Actually, you know what? You should probably go to bed.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
How much of that is the answer? So many times that, you know what?
Calling a friend and going to bed.
Yeah. How about you just
working out? Those
go
three.
sleep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you probably need that. Yeah. And that's my evenings. It's either I need to have a conversation with my wife to check in rather than us just both going to bed. I need to go to sleep, or I need to go work out and, work out that anxiety or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not like there was a blog that is part of our education. It wasn't like somebody just said, hey, read this book. You're going to have a bad crisis in a little bit.
You did have, if I remember correctly, an extraordinary dean of students that tried to tell you some of this stuff. But
yeah, he was a real pain. but
guy's the worst.
Yeah. At that time, we weren't ready.
No,
I mean,
I wasn't either, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, even as a student, like, so many times of like, man, if I went back to that class, I'd learn so much. I think at different parts of our life, we're just not ready to absorb. We're not a sponge yet.
But or there's soil and those seeds get planted, and it just takes the right environment for them to grow. Yeah, I just wish they would all grow a lot quicker.
Yeah. Maybe they're just it takes them a long time to produce anything.
That's right. I can't tell you. I told you this dinner last night. When I saw the success you're having, like, my heart exploded in like I threw both my hands up in the air. I was like, yes! Like, I'm so anytime students that I've had the privilege of knowing that I can just makes my heart so full. So, man, congrats.
That's awesome, dude.
And more importantly, you're not just like getting famous. You're actually helping people. You're handing people tools. Like, oh, man. And I think most of us think our marriages, our workplace, our relationship with our kids needs this grand sweeping thing.
Yeah.
It usually doesn't. Usually it needs, I'm just going to start doing this a little bit different. I'm going to start doing this a little bit different.
Just little
I'm going
tweaks.
to practice. Oh, I feel myself about to say something.
Yeah.
First words are going to breathe.
Right.
I'm going to practice that.
Yes.
And then you wake up 2 years later and somebody says something that just, and your default setting is a smile, right? And it's a total, and that's when you go, oh, man, I'm changing, right?
Yeah.
I'm growing, I'm changing.
I got a comment not too long ago, and I love this one. It was a wife. She was saying, hey, I've been following your stuff for a while. And I was in an argument with my husband, who was very stubborn and hard-headed, and we was a knockdown, drag out. And she said, at the end, I took a breath and followed what you said, and I said, I can do better. And she said, without a beat, he said, I can do better too. She said, never in any of our 20 years of marriage has this man admitted anything like that.
Wow.
And it's just like what you said, just those little tweaks. That's it. It's usually the less words, the more impact.
That's right. Yeah, that's awesome. Brother, you're awesome.
Man.
Congratulations.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
brother.